Hello, Paulding County, and welcome again to the Chairman's Corner, where we're trying to bring you information that would help you to deal with county departments and what their goals and missions are. Very happy to have today James Stokes here, who is the Chief Tax Assessor and has got a lot of experience in Paulding County and a lot of experience in taxes in general that are required for our county to exist and to improve. So James, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. And just give us a little bit of your background, educational, or how you got into this type career path.
Well, my background is in real estate appraising. Me and my father started a local appraisal business some years ago, and one thing led me to another, and I went to work for the county tax assessor's office. That was back in 1996, and throughout the period I have one way or another worked my way up through the ranks and became assistant chief appraiser, then the chief appraiser in 2011.
That's awesome, and that's great for us as a county to have your reputation and that experience here that we can draw on. You mentioned the ad valorem earlier to me, and that that's how our property is based on the value of the home. So you want to comment on that and kind of give a background?
Yeah, Georgia law requires that the base for all taxation in the state of Georgia is value based, hence the word ad valorem, which is Latin, it's according to value. So fundamentally, when Georgia legislature incorporated taxation, it was a value based assessment. At that time, they created local boards of tax assessors that are local to each county, and they are responsible for valuing all properties within the state of Georgia in that local jurisdictions. We have a board of tax assessors that the Board of Commissioners appoint. They're on a 3-year rotation.
Right.
Our Board of Assessors has 5 members. They're all local Paulding County citizens. And we have a team member staff of 20 right now. So we've got a staff of, the vast majority are appraisers,
right?
All certified with the state of Georgia. And then we have some clerical staff to deal with the in-house stuff.
Well, people are aware, our audience today is aware that their property gets inspected, and it's, can you talk to us about the interval, the annual and then the other periodic requirements?
Well, there's a couple of different things there. Number one, we're required by Georgia law to physically inspect all properties at least every 3 years. Okay. We do our best to turn the county every 3 years, and that's just what we consider a normal walk around. We've got a dedicated staff that is basically your door-to-door property inspections. On the other side of it is a value element. So everybody is familiar with the dreaded property assessments that we receive late May, early June. What the property assessment is it's our office representing what the local market is doing.
Right.
That market can change from year to year, in between developments, from one side of the county to the other. Market value is always in fluctuation. We're required by Georgia law to be within 5% plus or minus what properties are selling for overall throughout the county. Otherwise, if we're not in compliance with that, then the citizens of Paulding County would be penalized. If we get outside of 10% plus or minus of what properties are selling at, then the county would not be able to issue tax bills. The county would be penalized severely, and ultimately the citizens of Paulding County would suffer for that.
Yeah. Oh, that's good background information. I think also laying this foundation that you've already done well to establish would be to add on where our tax dollars go. Maybe some of it's obvious, but maybe there's some things that the citizens could glean from your comments, and probably why you get some self-satisfaction out of doing your job well.
Yes, no one loves the dreaded property tax bill. I don't think I've ever heard anybody said that they love to pay that tax bill. And one of the reasons from thousands of conversations is it's something that they tangibly cannot see.
Right.
So when you're driving down the road, every road sign, every piece of asphalt, every anything that you happen to see with roads, that is your local tax dollars. Mm-hmm. Every school that you pass by, every teacher, every park that you come by, those are your local tax dollars staying in your jurisdiction and supporting your local area.
Great explanation, and again, fundamental roots of why your office exists, why your department exists. So you've alluded to the annual property value update, the walk around. Anything else you would add there?
We send out a postcard to property owners. Our goal is to be on these properties at least 90 days of the postmark date. So we're sending a postcard to the property owners to let them know that we have a property inspector coming to their property. We do not go inside. We'll simply knock on the door to see if somebody's home. If they're home, we answer their questions. Any questions that they have, we'll answer them if we can. If we can't answer their questions, we're going to follow up with those people to get them an answer or get them a direction to have their questions answered. From that point, our property owners or property inspectors are simply going around the property, making sure the physical elements are right. They're not the ones that establish the tax that they're going to pay later on down the road.
Right.
So we're doing about 20,000 inspections per year. So a lot of times, of course, people are at work, like we're all at work.
Right.
We're having, we want people to know that we've been there to their property. So we leave a door hanger. The door hanger on the property lists the date that we were on the property. It lists the name of the appraiser or the field inspector that was on there. It gives a lot of information about what's going on in the county, a county directory, and it even has a little scan image where you can shoot it with your smartphone. It takes you straight to our website, and it will address a lot of our common questions that we have.
Right. If you do get a value communicated through the mail and you don't think it's fair, can you cover briefly how you appeal that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our office is, we try to do our best to make everything as open as possible. Georgia law allows a month and a half, 45 days, once we send that notice out to property owners to receive information. We put information on our web of how we arrived at the value. We put all of our sales that we used. Anybody is more than welcome to come in and sit down, and we'll go over every single detail of that property. And if you can't come in, you can email, you can fax, you can, however you want to get that message to you. We even have property owners that for whatever reason they're unable to come into their office, don't have access to emails or fax or things like that. And so we'll actually send property appraisers out to their property just to go over that same information, just as a convenience to the property owner.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, there still may be a disagreement between what that value is. There's several routes a property owner can take that cost absolutely nothing. You simply file an appeal with our office and say that you feel like the value is somewhat different. We have a fair amount of property owners that feel like their property value is more than what our value is. It does not make a difference. That's their opinion. We try to produce a value that's reflective of what the market is going and is generally could be expected if you were to put your house on the market.
You know, we mentioned earlier that there's hardly anybody that's ever just glad to get that assessment in the mail, but at the same time you cleared up very, very much that you go down the street, you can't see anything that property value and their taxes didn't go for, whether it's traffic lights or a school or a rec center or a recreational field of some kind. So there's there's probably not any hope that your particular department is going to become the most popular department among our staff or among the citizens, but James, it's one that we couldn't do without, and your leadership in your department has been exceptional, and so we want to recognize that and just thank you for enlightening us on some of our questions today. Can you think of any other thoughts you'd like to throw out there?
You know, one thing that we always try to get across to everybody is taxes are never favorable in any light, any form, or any fashion. We get that. We all pay property taxes. We're not immune to it in the tax assessor's office, but there's one thing that we try to get across to all property owners is you pay state tax, you pay federal tax, you pay all sorts of taxes right on the front end, and we do not know of any avenue where you can go to a local jurisdiction and you can ask for an explanation of that.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
And you don't have the opportunity to appeal it.
Right.
So, and you can be assured that your property tax dollars do stay in your local jurisdiction. And so you know where these dollars are going. So we don't find that in, even though the taxes are not popular, it is fair, and we're local, and we're here to explain what we do.
That's a great word to end on. So tremendous information for us.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much.